that it was intentionally done in a way that there was some key information that on purpose have been left out, right? Have been left out, be it you went to school, be it you attended a church, be it you attended a group in a certain extent, at least from the democratic and capitalist countries. I do reckon that there's a same pattern where, from early birds when the sun rises till the sunset, we are all sitting in a room learning, or rather repeating whatever the professor is stating, right? So we keep repeating it, and we are being assessed based on how good of a repeater we are, if you want, right? So this has been mostly going on. And in the end, we recognize we are good students because we have the ability to memorize and to repeat, and the other ability to criticize. So the other part of our brains, I would call it the right brain, which is the spiritual one, which is the creative brain, the colorful brain, is mostly left aside, where we are expected to comply, not to get outside of the box. We are expected to be sitting and to be a version of righteousness like this. So if this resonates with you, then yeah, you should keep following and you should keep watching, because this simple introduction to astrology and the way of grounding oneself and the way of knowing where is the north and where is your north, where is your sun sign, where is your ascendant, and where to place those different elements is rather very important, because from research, and I believe it is more and more being spread out there, the 12 apostles, the 12 sons, the 12 who have been mentioned in the books, and I speak mostly of the Bible book, we get to realize that this book itself is a very metaphorical, it's a metaphor kind of book. We need to read it with certain awareness, not to just absorb all the information, but rather to read it with certain awareness. And wish I did, not the whole thing, but rather the revelations part came across my attention, and I realized there's a lot of art in there, there's a lot of poems, there's a lot of metaphors. And from research to research, I heard that this Bible has had many versions over the time. The last one, or the latest one, was, if I'm correct, was around about Shakespeare, the time of Shakespeare, which was the 1600, where Shakespeare, very talented artist and poet, would co-write that new version. So you can believe, you can imagine rather how much of a good job he did, because everything that is being mentioned in this book has to do with testament, and when you write testament, I'm gonna do it right. When you do write testament, this is basically what you get. So I do not have the stylus, the pen of the tablet, so I'm gonna use just the fingers, so bear with me. So basically, here we go. You have something called testament. From the scripts and from the ancient language. Now I'm gonna go Latin side. These two have a meaning. So testa means body, right? And this one, menti, usually, it's the same suffix that we do read with govern, menti, and anything with menti. Basically, menti is mind, So govern, menti means governing the mind, sort of controlling the mind. Testamenti is the book about you, your body and your mind. So eventually we have versions of it. We have version of it saying, there was the Old Testament and there's the new one. Right? There's the new one. And then we got to learn that the main figure in the book was having 12 disciples in the end, because in the beginning it was starting with 14, and then apparently one got fired and the other one quit or whatever. It doesn't matter. I rather, I do not want to perfect the research into the books, but rather also to follow intuition, right? So there were 14 in the beginning, and this number will come important later because somehow correlates with I'm gonna make more space because we will definitely talk about the circle later, the circle of the zodiac, right? So this is where we're gonna end up, but rather I want to start first. This number correlates with the ancient wisdoms, Kemet. For those not familiar with this name, it's ancient Egypt, basically. It used to be called the land of the black. So because that's the meaning of Kemet. It used to be called the land of the black.
This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Baraka.
The land of the black.
You're playing music too loud.
And I personally don't know where you are with your knowledge, with your research, with your acceptance of the truth.
This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Baraka.
Here goes something. There is nothing new under the sun.
You shine like that.
And the edifice and the building, the pyramids are there to to remind it to us, but rather in this ancient Egypt, there used to be Osiris, which is known as Osiris in the Greek say culture. Rather, he was called Hausar. Okay, he was called Hausar. And the story goes like this. And I'll be using both the Greek and the ancient African names. The story goes like this, that, goes like Set, son of Hausar Osiris, and Isis with Auset. They had Set, and they had the other golden sun, Heru, or Horus, like you may know it in Greek, Spain. And they were both ruling, and this is a metaphorical story. Don't forget, we are speaking metaphorically here. So they were both ruling lower, I'll just write it low, Egypt and upper Egypt. Okay. I want you to keep this in mind as, body, basically. So you have your 3 lower chakras, usually depicted in these colors. So you have the Muladhara, you have the Svadhisthana, you have the Svadhisthana, and you have the Manipura, right? And then comes this sort of grand line, and I'm gonna be jumping also with reference with mangas, especially One Piece. So you have this grand line sort of dividing your lower self from your higher self. Lower, why? Because Muladhara, Svadhisthana, and Manipura all deal with those physical aspect of being. Muladhara is more about your body, how you feel in your body, your bones, your Martian aspect. And I will explain how Mars is very related with Aries later, Aries, which is here. And rather, it's how we feel in our body, right? This is how we walk the walk and so on. And the second chakra is more our Shakti, this creative energy, this creative force, and has to do with our sexual energy, which is not only to procreate, but rather to co-create, to recreate, and to create from within. So I'll mention again later that between ejaculation and injaculation, there's a big difference, right? I'm pretty sure you grew up with the culture of ejaculation, where we all got to get acquainted with the whole world of sexuality, depending on the culture where you're from. From my side, it was those erotic books, those little books somehow coming across my attention. We never had any education about sex or about the body or in that way. And I believe this is similar with a lot of you watching it. Nobody really told us about this energy, which is a sacred energy, This energy is very sacred because it's all about sacred energy exchange. You know, it's sacred. It's the way to procreate, right? Rather, we grew up seeing it as only a way of recreation and procreation, but the co-creation, the divine creation aspect of it, we didn't necessarily get across that, get through that. And then we have the third chakra, this one. Then we have the Manipura, our guts, you know, our inner confidence, the way we conduct ourselves, the way we identify ourselves, the way we express this will, this fire we do have within, right? And this one right here, very much interconnected with Leo. Okay? We'll see it later. So now we have Heru. You know, we have Heru, Horus. You know, ruler of the Upper Egypt. So basically, you know, I will put the Merkaba here. The Merkaba is the fourth chakra. You know, I'll put it here. Also, I will also put it here with Heru. The reason why is the fourth chakra is literally is at the border. It is actually sitting where physical becomes spiritual, you know. And with the element of air, it defines pretty well this aspect of this center of energy. And again, they are all one power, and they are not separated. They are all one power of color, of rainbow, you know. And this is our job, to activate them in our life, each one of them, or, you know, some of them, and then come back to continue the job. Rather, it's good to know what we are dealing with when we are going through the ocean of emotion, right? So I want to put it here in the middle like that, you know, with a sense of touch, of course. I want to put it in the middle. So we have the fourth chakra with Heru, which is all about how we, you know, we radiate love, how we receive love, and how we are unconditional about it, you know. And then we have Vishuddha. We have Vishuddha. And then comes Ajna.
You're playing music too loud? They put you in jail.
Ajna usually has indigo. Okay, indigo. That would be like that. A bit indigo color, kind of. And then you have the crown, which is purple or white. And we do usually have the crown, purple or white. Okay. So basically, these two, Set and Heru, you know, they were dealing they were doing the daily life. You know, Set was, you know, the one ruling the desert, and the other one was the one ruling the police, the Upper Egypt, right? I'll call it police for now. It has different name, which don't pop up in my mind for now. But it doesn't really matter, or is not really important for presentation now. So the scripts say that Set, sort of, nurturing those low vibrational emotions, was getting jealous of Heru, and at some point would go and kill Osiris. Because Heru was supposed to be the heir, right? So he went on and killed Osiris. Again, it's a metaphorical story. What he did kill Osiris, and then he did chop him in 14 parts, which he spread it all around the world, so that nobody can find it, right? So what happened is that Isis, Muta, she came to rescue, she came in the picture with her magical features, and has been starting to look for husband, for Osiris, all around the world, and using different invocation, using different aspects of spirituality and magic to find Osiris. And as soon as she will find it, she will put all of those 14 pieces together. And that's when you probably heard of the first mummification, because she already did use some heka or some words of power, to resurrect. This is Osiris, by the way. This is Auset. To resurrect Auset. It's very pale. To resurrect Auset, you usually have a like that. Will do. Just do it like that. So this is the head. This is the feet. So she put all of those 14 pieces together, and then with her craft, she did some magic. That's when we heard of the first mummification. She put all the pieces together. A certain, they were rolling it up in the stove, and next thing you know, he's resurrected. So this word resurrection is what has been probably heard or used in the Bible, after the third day he resurrected and this and that. I don't want to talk about that other book, Bible, but I just want to make references in order for us to know that the concept of resurrection, the concept of magic has already been mentioned metaphorically in so many books. We just need to pay attention now, okay? So this is the story. This is kind of a little quick story about testamenti, about the testamenti and Set and Heru, and how these books are speaking about basically you, about let's call them the 12 disciples, about the 12 glands of your body, the 12 jewels. Bear with me, I don't have my stylus, so the next video is gonna definitely be more pretty, I just want for you to grasp the essence of this testamenti. Wherever you read it, this is basically talking about you. Now that we got it, let's move on. I would like now to talk about, the Zodiac. Let's see if I can. I'll just here this one, right? In the books and the ancient one, there's another story about Mama Zodicus. Mama Zodicus. Let's go. Zodicus. She who came from nowhere. It says that she gave birth to herself. Isn't that fantastic? She gave birth to herself, Mama Zodicus. And through this birth process, here's how it went. That's how we're gonna symbolize her through the course of this. She's the circle. Yeah, the same, by the way. Right? She's the one. She's the circle. I actually do have a picture from actual ancient Egypt, so everybody can go to Egypt to see it on the big wall, because they made sure that it just stays there for everybody to see. You can see Mama Zodicus with, this is important, her firstborn. Hey, bear with me, we got this. So, her firstborn, yes.
You're playing music too loud.
The first son. Guess how his name?
No trial, no nothing.
His name is Seti. Some people say Suti,
This kind of behavior is
Sut.
never tolerated in Morocco.
Some people say Sat.
You shine like that,
Some others said,
believe it or not, jail right away.
some other Saturn,
No trial, no nothing.
some other Satan. Satan.
Never tolerated.
Anyhow, me, I was not there. But again, mentioning it to compare and to awaken our sense of curiosity, but also our memories, because everything we need to record, because we just we forgot. We are a society, we forget. Forgetfulness is a very interesting concept. We just forget. Okay. So here we have Zodicus. With her son together, right? And you'll see on the presentation, I'm gonna spoil it real quick. You'll see I wrote here at some at one of those line that define your houses, that define your parental line, that define your ascendant, that define the descendant, that define the horizon, that define your north, that define so many things. This is a multi-dimensional thing. It's just a circle, but it says so much. You recognize I put Sirius. Siri, the first star. There's a reason for that, because it says in the books, and again, let it be clear, every time we hear about a dog star in the books, or star dog or watchdog, from research, and I believe somebody already said that, it means that they are following. Obviously, let's play with words and letters. What do you see when you write dog? Let's do it like this. You don't see?
You overcook chicken.
What do you see?
Also there.
No.
Undercooked over.
So usually dog, they do follow God.
We have the best patience in the world
But now you understand,
because of jail.
set. These are concepts, principles, archetypes.
Never tolerated
Archetypes, not manifested here, but concepts of godliness,
right to jail. Right.
planets.
No trial, no nothing.
So it says Sirius is the dog of, I believe I'm correct, so Sirius is following Seti and Benny. Sirius is following Seti,
Believe it or not.
okay?
Right away. No trial, no nothing.
So for now, what do we have? We have Zodiacus,
This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Morocco.
we have Zodicaus, called Zodiac, by the new school.
Jail.
We have Set, Sat,
Trial, no
we have Set, Sat, Sut, Satan, Saturn, whatever. Let's give homage to the Greek. They call it Chronos, father. So the son of Mama Zodicaeus, they came and called him Chronos, father of time. So every time you read father, great father, father in the books, they talk about Saturn.
to take the protesters away. Where are they?
And of course, they talk about you. Because we will get to understand that Saturn up there has a very good influence on you down there. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. Okay? So this is the second story. Now we get that, okay, the circle is the worm. And the chops, come here to symbolize time. There's a reason why on these, I don't know how old you are, but rather these clocks, do you recall those clocks? Where there's always, it always blinks. And it shows something like that. You'll show something like that. You have your clock. Then it goes the very neon green telling you set. Something like that. Well, and then it blinks. You have your radio. This is my version of a radio, bear with me. So you have your radio, you can tune it. It says set hour, you have your little cassette player here. And you have your little antenna. Back in the days, old school. And then it says set HR. Well, it means set Heru. Hello. You got it? It means literally set Heru. Set Heru. So your subconscious, you speak to your subconscious in so many ways. Sing this little thing. Okay? So we know a little bit about ancient Egypt. We know a little bit about the stars, the zodiacs, the mama. Let's call it, she's the mama. Every time I'm going to mention mama, I'm talking about she. She's the mama, right? And from her derive all of those divinity systems you have, where you go, people, they draw a circle. In my culture, it's called Ifa. You go to to somebody, to an oracle, Babalao, somebody who is at the door. And again, you understand, the door we talk about is the door. You remember this sort of grand line I did between the physical and the invisible, you know? So he do get messages, and then you go there, you state your inquiry, you know, and then you shake some cowries, shells in your hand, and then you get to throw them on the plate, or it's called Opon Ifa. You should Google it, and then you will have an idea, because everything is symbolic, you know. As soon as you will see the shape of Opon Ifa, you'll be like, huh, it looks like here, you know. And in another video, I will even describe better the similarities. The reason I'm doing so is to break the endoctrinement. So many, at least from my narrative, you know, we've been told not to look into this. I grew up in a Muslim family, and of course, you know, you wake up at 9, you go to school, you come back later, so you don't have time to explore outside of what you get home or at school. So home, I was, you know, acting Muslim, and at school, I went my whole life to Catholic schools. The reason why is because where I'm from, Catholic schools have always been known to be very strict. Ironically, to be very strict, you know. We get to understand that it's also because of trauma over traumas, you know. So I will explain it later on. So by the day, you know, learning about the Gospels, about the Bible, the Bible, and at night I was coming back home and grounding myself with the Salam, you know, with Ishai, you know, and I was taking all of them seriously. And at a very early age, I felt and recognized there are bits of truth everywhere. Rather, depending on who tells you that truth or who reads the book in front of you, depending on his mood and his temperament, your understanding can differ, you know. So I'd rather say it has been very school strict. It has been very home explorative, but rather as well I went to Islamic schools on the weekend. So because we had to learn Arabic, which I'm very grateful for, because my understanding of this calligraphy is what opens so many doors of my understanding nowadays, where, you know, I just see calligraphies and they do speak to me, you know, and I will explain how and why later. So we had to go and learn how to read Arabic. And in my case, I do know a couple of surat by heart, with the pronunciation, with the all of it, because we've been, you know, they made sure that we do learn it. And yes, we got beat sometimes, you know. We got beat sometimes, so there was a sort of an indoctrinement in order for you to learn that book, to, you know. So today I can just share a whole surat not necessarily tell you what wagwan or what it means exactly, you know. And of course, it's upon all of us to make the further research, but I'm rather speaking of the childhood, how things went, and how, because that's when you build your psyche. That's when you build from 0 to 7. That's when you build what you're gonna become mostly. Okay, so Zodicus, Mama, you know, Set and Heru, the radio, set your time. Mama, she's the circle, Set is the sun, and the rest, we're gonna figure it out. I wish we are all on the same line till now. We do, we are. Okay, so I'm gonna clear that up. Okay, so then there are other narratives. Usually the journey, the so-called journey of the sun. The so-called journey of the sun. I don't know how familiar you are with it. Depending on the hemisphere or where you are at the moment, usually the story of the sun might start here. And go like this. They're gonna tell you, hey, this is summer, this is fall, this is winter, this is spring. I came to Europe to discover those seasons, because from where I'm from, we just have la saison des pluies and la saison sèche. So basically the dry season and the rainy season. Okay, so up till 16, this was the reality I was living. It's either rainy, it's either sunny. And in the African celebration of the New Year, which happens here on the 23rd of September. Of who I said? September. Maybe it's gonna be clearer if I do it like this, because this one we read it set in French. So seti again comes back. So anyway, so on the 23rd of September, they had the equinox in the south in Africa, back home. Okay. Rather, what is interesting is the sun journey. The story of it is also very metaphorical in many ways. Right. Because as soon as it starts from here and goes, it always say it starts with spring. Spring, which is somewhere March. Okay, the 21st of March. It starts with Aries. And then they will say, it starts with equal days and equal nights, something like that. Right? I'm gonna read the story of the journey of the sun to you so that it makes sense. It goes like this. Bear with me, I'm still adjusting. It goes like this for the sun journey.
Journalists, we have a special gel for journalists. Where are they? You're charging too high prices for squares. Where are they? Where are they? Where are the
Okay, I will
investors away?
definitely cut the video
Where are they?
at some point.
You make an appointment with the dentist and you don't show up. Believe it or not, jail right away. Where are they? You undercook fish. They put you in jail. Right away. You overcook chicken. Also
Here goes the story.
undercook over.
It says,
We have the best patients in the world. Because of jail.
the sun rises on the ascendant. This is the ascendant. That line is the ascendant. You know, they usually call it the horizon. You know,
Play music too loud, they put you in
so
jail.
basically you have a sun sign, so you are born Aries, Taurus, depending on the date, you are born this and that. Rather, there is a planet,
This kind of behavior is
there's a sign, there's a sun sign, which was at the horizon when you were born. This is gonna become your ascendant,
right away.
okay? Rather, let's go through the story. It says, the sun rise on the ascendant
Believe it or not, jail.
with Ogun, Aries,
Right away.
on the east
This kind of behavior is never tolerated.
hemisphere, where it springs in with nature, new year of spring equinox. So every time you hear equinox, it means that we have equal days and equal nights. Okay. I like to draw those two like this, sun and moon.
Behavior is
They are equal.
tolerated and brought up.
Then the sun moves into Taurus
You shout like that,
here. I'm gonna give the Yoruba and Ifa belief names later on, so I'm not confusing too much. Okay? So I'll start again. The sun rise in Aries.
too loud, they put you in jail. Right away.
The sun rise in Aries. Then move into Taurus
Right away.
when it is fixed.
Journalists, we have a special
This is a very important word. Where it is fixed.
right to jail.
I'll just write it like this. Fixed. Door. Where it is fixed and stable. What does that mean, fixed and stable? It means that we are in the middle of the season.
You're playing music too loud,
Those pizza cuts, basically, we have one cut here. You know, we have another cut here. We have this cut here. These are the seasons, basically.
right away.
These are the seasons. You recognize
Behavior is never tolerated.
this one is the fixed portion,
Undercooked fish.
the middle portion of the season. So it is fixed and stable in the middle of the season.
Also jail.
From there,
Go over.
it moves into Gemini, where it begins to mutate. This is
Right away.
this is where we talk about that. Where it begins to mutate, and I'm gonna call it muta. And I will explain why later. Where it begins to mutate out of the spring season and turns into Cancer in the north. You see how this thing is getting? In the north. So I want you to everything, because left is right, up is down, upside is. We started at the east, remember? It says east here. I'm gonna follow what they say over there. It says east here, and then it says now here we are north. round about north. Okay. This is the summer solstice. Yeah. This is the summer solstice. Where the sun remains 3 degrees and brings the longest day of the year. Okay. Here we are March. March. Here we run about June, July. Okay. The longest day of the year. As it is at its highest point in the north, initiating the summer. Then the sun moves into Leo.
Never tolerating
Where it is fixed. You see how for Aries, they don't speak a lot. They don't even mention the name because they are the initiator of the season. Aries, Cancer, Libra, and the goat. They are the initiator of the season. Okay, here we have the spring, as we said before. So it says that the sun moves into Leo where it is fixed. And dignified in the summer season. Dignified, it's a beautiful word. Dignified. Then he goes into Virgo, where it begins to mutate out of the season again. Muta. Okay? Which you are following. Okay. Here's the line. And as I mentioned before, we are somewhere here because 23rd of September was not so long ago, right? You know, back in Africa, I mean, I'm just gonna cut the story of the sun for a minute. Back in Africa, they were celebrating the rebirth of Auset, Osiris. And I'm just gonna, script it real quick. What do you see here? When you observe, yeah, I do see a sun. Yeah, I do see a sun here. I do see a bar here. I do see the other one on top. The script says that this is your physical mind. This one here, down here, is your lower physical mind, and this one is the upper mind. The script also says, because every single sign of the Zodiac has more than one message to tell us. Libra is associated with the sacrum. It's called the Mount of Venus. It's called the Mount of Venus. I'm just jumping from one story to the other, but rather bear with me. It's gonna make sense. It's called the Mount of Venus. This one right here is related somehow to the brain. Because Aries, we know Aries is governing the brain, right? I'm not gonna go too deep into the detail now. So this is Libra. So what happened in Africa is that they've been celebrating the rebirth, this sun, new opportunities, second chances, right? And it is symbolically under Ma'at. Libra is balance. Libra is Vaga. Your Libra is the Vaga. Symbolically, which is Ma'at with her feather,
This kind of behavior
with her Demeter.
tolerated in Morocco.
So this is a concept of balance, of équilibre. As you see, middle line, équilibre.
Slow.
Okay?
Yeah. No trial, no nothing.
So
Right away.
the sun, depending on where we are sitting, south or the north, the sun is depicted differently. Reason why what one book says we cannot refute, because they've been experiencing the same reality differently. Like one of those full moon recently, it was the blue moon, I believe, it was 1 or 2 months ago. So there was a blue full moon here. Literally it was blue. And I had a friend. She was traveling to London, visiting her family. And she would tell me, yo, the moon is actually red here. I'm like, wait a minute. Same moon? You see? And it got me to think that back in the days, you know how our ancestors were very,
Take the protesters away. Where are they?
how can I put it?
This kind of behavior
Let's say that it was very easy to start a rumor. How do you pronounce it in English? This one, a rumor. A rumor. Like, you know, when somebody says something, you heard it, and then it starts spreading in the village. Somebody said this, and so it got me to think. You know, when the English are experiencing the same moon red, you see, and then we meet again. Then we be like, yo, the last moon was blue for us. It was more gentle, and you know, it was sort of reflecting our inner side of creativity, of, you know, of this and that. And then she will say, oh no, in London it was red. It was all about, you know, shadow work, where everybody was scrying there, you know. And I do believe this is mostly what happened, as in different aspects of the same planet, depending on where you are positioned on Earth, depending on your angels or angles. Archangels or archangels or angles. So you have the light coming here, you know, depending on where you are, depending on how the light shines on you, you might be telling a different story, basically. So all of these are archetypes or archangels. Let's call it archangels for now. You know, so it got me think, okay, same truth, different interpretation, obviously. Okay, let me get back to the sun journey. Okay, so for now we had the balance, we had Libra. Okay,
no trial, no nothing. Right away.
we had Libra.
Protesters away. Where are they?
We had Libra. When Sun turns into Libra, it is on the descendant line in the west and beginning its descent into the colder days. Obviously, whoever wrote this and whoever is, you know, narrating this was living up here in Europe. Oh, you know, because for the brothers back in Africa, they are springing into their season. So it's all about, you know, springing out, starting going their way outside. But rather here, we start getting into the introspection. See, we start, you know, changing our moods because it's getting cold. And you already know in Europe, when the cold starts, it affects your mood. Yeah, it does. It affects your mood. So that's why people get inside of themselves. You know, they don't laugh no more because the cold is for real, right? So when the sun turns into Libra, it is on the descendant into the colder days. So I'm using both narrative for you to know. So depending on where you are watching this video from, bear with me, okay? So if you're in Africa, you are springing, you are starting your journey. Good for you. You know, so here the fall or autumn equinox takes place. Again, you remember I told you equinox? We have equal days and equal nights. Equal days and equal night. And it's beautiful that it is happening just next to Ma'at. 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 Next to Ma'at. Right. And then the sun moves into Scorpio, where it is fixed again. Where it is fixed. I'm just gonna write fix for us to, you know, to recognize it later. Just gonna write it fixed. Where it is fixed. All right. Then it goes into Sagittarius, where once again it mutates. Muta. Let me put it like this. Muta. Muta, why? Because muta, you'll see you have a certain number of fixed sign, a certain number of muta sign, a certain number of cardinal sign. Muta, like the name say, they are mutable. They change quickly. They change easily. And we talk about the way of the sun, but we also talk about the sun within, you know. And those traits convey to the mood and behavior of the sun sign of each sign we are talking about. And again, as I mentioned with the Bible and the Testamenti, we talk about you. So the 12 grades are also you. So you may be born something, but your life journey should take you across all of those 12 signs. You need to explore all of those 12 aspects of yourself because you still have the 12 glands inside of you. Okay. So onto Sagittarius, it begins to mutate out. So let's go and muta it. Muta. It begins to mutate out of the season once again and descends into the darker, colder days. These were colder days, no? Now it says darker, colder days. Why? Because when it moves into Capricorn, and again Capricorn has this arrow that symbolizes that Capricorn is the goat, is a cardinal, initiator of season. You know what I'm saying? Initiator of seasons. Right? In Capricorn, the sun is at its lowest point in the south. You know, king of the south. Winter is coming. You know, all of those TV shows, they've been telling us something we haven't been listening of. You know, so we have north.
This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Morocco.
We have east.
Believe it or not, Jay, right away.
You have west. Bear with me, this is west. You have south. It says now,
Never tolerated in Morocco.
bringing winter, obviously, this is winter. And it also brings the shortest day of the year here. The shortest day of the year. And I'm speaking from a Eurocentric perspective where they have 4 seasons and, you know, all over the year this changes and that. Because from other part of the year, it might be a different narrative. Bear with me, right? Because in Africa, obviously, there's no such thing like winter, but rather they are their own version of the change. they might observe the longest rain season or the shortest dry season. There is something about it. I'm gonna get into it later, but rather I want to start from the books. Most of us have a Bible or Bible. Most of us have heard of the Zodiac. Most of us have heard of the 4 points of the compass of the the north south, east, west. Right? That's why I want to start from here. So this is the shortest day of the year. This is the winter solstice. Winter solstice. Yeah. Winter. Winter. And it is interesting because it is taking place on the 22nd of December. I do not know if you experienced that, but for a certain number of days, the sun remains there from the 22nd to the 23rd to the 25th. The sun doesn't move. The sun doesn't move. The same degree for 3 days. And again, in comparison to the Bible and the books, we've been celebrating this, we've been that. It's the birth of the savior of this and that. So I'm not here to talk about the books, but rather for you to see the correlation, because it's very metaphorical, and it's speaking about you, speaking about what's going on in the cosmos and in nature. So after which, in December 25th, it ascends like a new birth and resurrection. You see? In the north, in Europe, they talk about resurrection in March. In Africa, we talk about resurrection in September. Again, same coin, different side. We have to take it easy. We have to take it easy. Because what is being experienced down there, the reflection is being experienced here. You see this shape I just did? This is what the old Egyptians would call the bark or arc or archetype, archangel or whatever. So this arc thing is gonna be remarkably, sparkingly important for us to keep in mind, for the next presentation and next videos. Okay? So after the 25th of December, okay, so we are here in Capricornus. That's why they call him the goat. Because if anything, that would be more or less where Jesus was born. And I call it Jesus. Why? Because in the next video, in one of the next video, you will see that when you type Opon Ifa, you remember what I told you, this circle of life from West Africa called Opon Ifa? You will see that there is always a sort of a head on the Opon Ifa. So it goes like that. Okay. And there is always sort of a head. And there are the feet. Like that. Right. Why do I say Jesus was born here? Because we call this one here. We call the gatekeeper, the Orisha, the gatekeeper. We call it Eshu, which very sounds like Jesus or Jesus or Jesus. Again, I'm not there to pinpoint. I want to talk about my story. So these two, Eshu, the one at the gate, the gatekeeper, the holder of ASHÈ, the one who speaks all the languages, the one who will be the messenger of whatever you ask or say to the invisible world. Okay? All right. So let's continue with the journey
Never tolerating Baraka.
of the sun. Okay. He says later,
You're playing music too loud.
let's just scrap it for now. He says later,
No trial, no nothing.
the sun then moves into Aquarius. Aquaman, the son of the man, the sun.
Never tolerating Baraka.
The sun moves into Aquarius where it again fixed for the season. Here we are again with the fix. So let me just scrap this one,
Trial, no nothing.
make some space.
This kind of behavior is never tolerating
Right.
Baraka.
It tells us we are fixed again.
You're driving too fast. Yeah.
Over here,
Yeah.
we be fixed.
No trial, no nothing. Right away. Where are the armed men?
Thereafter, the sun moves into Pisces, where it mutates. Muta, where it mutates out of the season, winter, and it begins to climb toward exaltation as it is reaching the ascendant line. You remember that ascendant line we talked about in the beginning? This one? That ascendant line?
Where are the armed men coming to take the protesters away? Where are they?
Line and begin a new year, bringing in once again the new cycle of the spring equinox, as above, so below. Right? So that's the story of the sun, the journey of the sun. You know. And it's good to mention, it's important to know that the sun does not move around the earth. The earth moves around the sun. Right? And the earth does this in 365 days. You know what I'm saying? So, the affirmation progression might be true because the sun reflects upon Mother Earth, Mama Earth. And metaphorically, Earth
You make an appointment with the dentist.
is heart,
Believe it or not, yeah, right away.
and heart is you. So, Earth is you. It's
Fish.
so metaphorically said as in, you are Earth. You have the sun inside of you. That's why it's called your own universe. You is called your own universe because everything going on up there is also happening inside of you through the 12 glands. Okay?
We have the best patients in the world.
I believe I'm just gonna make a first stop. I don't know for how long I've been going with this presentation. I don't want to go too long either. What does he say? He doesn't even say how long.
You're playing music too loud. They put you
Bon.
in jail right away.
You see? This is what's going on. I believe we will just get further. Real quick.
This kind of behavior
Real
is
quick.
never tolerating Baraka.
Real quick. Real quick.
You shout like that,
Okay?
they put you in
Maybe I should explain why the colors.
right away.
Real quick. So,
No trial, no nothing.
over the ages, depending on the Wahala, what's going on,
Right away.
and it will be a very interesting discussion,
Tolerating Baraka.
right?
Too fast.
This whole racist or the connotation to black, the color black as a mind state, as a color, as a physical aspect of being, as a mood state, it all comes from this. And I will explain why. You see? Because 400 years ago, somebody having
You shout like that,
a tough day or having his mind confused, because, of, let's say, a full moon acting upon him and, with different aspects. This person might be saying that he's having or is going through his darker days. He might say that he's going through the darkest night of their soul. Bear with me. Okay. Darkest night, darkest. And then the next thing you know, after the ancestor will move to Europe, they didn't move to Europe at that time, or how can I put it? After they've been, let's put it this way, they moved to Europe, okay? So you are sitting in Europe, having the darkest night of your soul, and next thing you see is an actual person having a dark skin. And of course, you didn't deal with your shadow work. There was almost no way for our ancestors. There was almost no way for them to express. It's one of them, Okay, one of them. This is a very important. A very important center or point, and I am drawing, as you can see, I am drawing Taurus here. Aptitude, the values, aptitude to speak. The throat is very interconnected with Taurus, the sun sign. So back in the days, our people, they didn't necessarily know how to assert the emotion and to, after identifying the feeling, they didn't have the way to assert their emotion, and next thing you know, they react and they see this, and this is my theory about this whole shebang and this whole, or at least for the last 400-500 years, because there's nothing new under the sun. Dark, brown, black people have been put aside of the story for quite some time, and it happened before. Let's leave it here, right? So we are somewhere in 1560, whatever, something like that, in the 15th century. Let's put it this way, and it says back in the days that it was all about temperament. People used to talk about temperament, how you deal with your emotion and how you express them. They used to call them temperament. And the thing says that I'm just gonna clean this one. The thing says that there were 4 temperaments. And 4 will become very important as a number. It also reflect the 4 colors I've been using there. It also reflect the 4 main elements. And as you know them, what do we have? We have fire, we have earth, we have air, and we have river. And it's on purpose I use river instead of water, because I want you to remember this, all that, and I want you to see it as it is. Sophia. I've been writing fear. No, I'm gonna write fail, or fire. Let me just write feu. So we have feu, we have earth, we have air, and we have river. Bene. Okay. And back in the days, they used to say, hey, there are 4 temperaments. One of them is phlegmatic, phlegm. Another of them is melancholic. I'm just gonna write them all in the same colors. Melancholic, melanchol. Another of them is colérique. What was the last one? Melancholique, colérique, phlegmatique. It will come again. Let's just call it bloody for now, basically, because what it does say from research, it does say that those four temperaments are very intertwined with the four elements or the four colors from the body point of view. So basically, the phlegm, which is white, gets to be associated with river. The blood, which is red, get to be associated with air. Melanchol is where I'm not sure because I don't have my notes, but I can just find it here. Hold on with me for a second. Look at that. So basically, blood is called sanguine. You are sanguine. The name was just there. It's called sanguine. You are sanguine. Or sanguin. Whatever it says. Eh?
This kind of behavior is never tolerated.
Sanguine. And then it says you are melancholique.
You're playing music
You are
too loud.
choleric.
Right to jail, right away. No trial, no nothing.
Okay. So these were called the four humors,
Never
sort of.
tolerated in Morocco.
And bear with me, I'm gonna make it even more clear now. So sanguine
Right away.
is blood and air.
No trial,
Okay.
no nothing.
Phlegmatic
This
is
kind of
phlegm.
behavior is
Like
never tolerated in Morocco.
phlegm. We have phlegm in our body, and it's water and river. Okay? Melanchol. There we go.
Slow.
Melancholic, of course, they are very melancholic, all very earthy. And so melancholic people, they are earthbound.
Right away. Where are the armed men?
And one thing important
Away.
is the black bill,
Where are they?
which is something going on in our bodies. You just take it like that for now. It's the black bill. And the last one, choleric, colère, has to do with feu, fire. And guess what? It is the yellow bill.
Away. Where are they?
So you have the yellow bill, the black bill, the blood, and the white phlegm,
Where are they?
which gives us the four colors.
Where are they?
Why and how did I put the colors like that? It's because of the story of Isis and Ra.
Where are the armed men coming?
You see?
Investors away.
Because of the story of Isis and Ra.
This kind of behavior is never tolerated in Morocco. Where are they? Journalists,
Okay, let's go.
you have a special jail.
The story of Isis and Ra. So
Where are
the story of Isis and Ra is another fable saying that Isis was so eager to know the secret names of Ra that she will put together a sort of a poison, something poisonous, so that whenever Ra will come and pass his way, because as you see, Ra is just journeying around, minding his business, or actually virtually journeying around, because we are moving around the sun, as I mentioned before, but rather in our interpretation, as we map it, Ra is going his way. So Isis put like a poison something on the way, and Ra will have it and would be sick, and he couldn't get better because part of the poison was his spit. So Isis was very careful to use poison and his own speed so that, you know, it wouldn't be easy to cure. So the story says Ra called Isis, Auset, to come and help him. So she came and she said, hey, I will help you. However, you need to tell me your secret names. You know? So Ra was trying to confuse Isis real quick, you know? But Isis was really sharp because she knew what she came for. She said, no. You gotta tell me your name. So Ra was, you know, conceding a lot of information, and he said, I have many names, but rather, I am Kepara. He said, I am Kepara. At sunrise, okay, I am Kepara. It says, I am Kepara at sunrise. Ra at noon. And Atom. Atom or Temu in the evening. And then he stopped. And then the last part of his name, he said to Isis in secret. You see? So, me jumping from one book to the other, you know, following the South Hemisphere cosmology, and you remember, we are springing, basically, here. We are springing in September. Okay. I mean, you could try to spring it there, following the story. You'll recognize that at some point it won't fit. It won't fit. This is what's really beautiful with this circle. When you miss something, then you recognize early enough because it just doesn't fit in the box. So we are Kepara. You know, we are Kepara, and I believe they mentioned we are Kepara at the east, which is very interesting, guys, because the Horshbang I did before, where was it? I already erased it. The Horshbang from before, you know, from the northern hemispheres, you know, when I was talking about the sun, going in summer and doing the shbang. What did they say? They said this is north. You remember? They called this north. And they called the winter south. And they called what again? You see, it's kind of upside down. Again, I'm still learning, so there's no truth, there's no right or wrong, depending on the perspective. Rather, in the ancient book of Kemet, it says Kepara, it is the east. It goes to the north. Okay. And then it goes down for setting at the west. And then you have another story taking over the night. You know, with Newt. This is the Newt part. This is the part here with Newt. I'm not gonna open this chapter right now. I really sincerely don't know how long the video is going on. Yo, I can go the whole day with this thing. So let's take the goddess Newt out of the picture because I'm gonna come back with another video. It's the first time first, you know, I don't have my stylus and you see. So basically they say that, you know, and eventually Isis Auset, she saved the Sun Ra, you know, with this couple of information. And all of those, you can find them in metaphors, in the Book of the Dead, from Tehuti and this and that. But rather, this is where we are at, I'm saying. So, we have this. Okay. So for the colors, now that we know blood is red, phlegm is white, we have the black bill and the yellow bill. Where to put each one of them, you might ask. This is the configuration that has been working. Because you might look on the internet when you look for astrology, this and that, or you might see similar circle of the zodiac with the similar 4 colors. Because these are the 4 colors. You understand that the 4 colors are intimately related with what is going on in all of our body, no matter how you qualify your skin complexion or how you learned at school to call that skin complexion or whatsoever. Inside of your body, your blood is red. Your phlegm, they are white. Your yellow bill is yellow. Your black bill is black. So no matter what they say, from the inside, because as above, so below, and as within, so it's the same. I don't want to talk about complexion for now. Okay, so here, down here, why did I put a color like this? It is intimately related. If you Google Kikongo, I'm gonna write it down for you to see. If you write Kikongo cosmology, Kikongo, or any African cosmology, may it be Kikongo from Uganda, from Eastern Africa, all of them. And I may find, do I have a picture of this? I don't believe I do. It doesn't matter. All have the same color distribution, where it goes like this, where you have like a circle here. Have another one like that. Okay, you have another one like that, and you have the last one like that. See? Then they'll go ahead and just link all of them. They'll go like this. Go like this. They'll go like this. They go like this. Okay. And eventually they will again have a sort of additional details going like this. I don't want to make it too long either, but I just want to introduce the next volley of the video. Because we're here to stay, guys. It's gonna be a lot of information we are going to share with each other, right? So it goes like this, and this is looking more like what we see in African spirituality, where we broke it like that because here you had another interpretation of some waters going through from one side to the other. And then we will get to understand that it is very much in connection with the story of Newt back in ancient Egypt, because this water is there for a reason, and I'm gonna show and tell why in the next video, right? So guys, if you meditate now, kudos and thank you for your patience. It was a very spontaneous decision to go through this video today, because for so long I've been looking for the right time, the right medium, the right the right graphic, the right thing to do. So, and then I was like, you know what, let's just start, because it's very helpful for the mind and the subconscious to be able to put things in order like that. So I wish that it helped, you to get one thing or two more clear. And if there are any questions you do have or any remarks, drop them in the comment below, because as I said, we are here to stay. I'm gonna come again with with more revelation, more information, all to help us to get to know ourselves, to get to in this spiritual journey, in this Aquarius age, get to know ourselves better, and and then do the spiritual work. Okay, I wish you all well and sound. I send you some ache. And before closing it, I'm gonna start with a motto saying that, inspire to get inspired, and go your day. All right, peace, love, ASHÈ.
You make an appointment with the dentist and you don't show up. Believe it or not, jail right away. What happened? You undercooked fish. They put you in jail right away. You overcooked chicken, also jail. Undercooked over. We have the best patients in the world because of jail.